they play for one another. They space the floor with great shooters. Their post players roll quick and move really well without the ball. And so I think, it's kind of understanding we got to change the way we kind of approach this schematically compared to other teams that we face that are maybe more ISO based and less looking to set one another up. And I think that's kind of part of a playoff kind of run is you just got to be able to turn the page and kind of take the next team at hand and understanding what it is that you're trying to take away from them.
And then on the other end of the ball, they rotate should they swing so much. What kind of things are anticipated from the matchups that you'll see from them? Because they are a team that doesn't have that interior size, but they've got bodies flying around.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last two games in the Vegas series showed us a little bit of how Minnesota plays in terms of just trying to congest, make you kind of make those extra passes and fly out and just make things difficult for you. And so obviously we know the way that they play. Defensively, they're a sound team. They're going to continue to try and not give you anything easy. And I think we've been able to prepare these last couple of days really well on what it is we're trying to accomplish and what's going to be open and what's not. Is there what? Common thread. No, I think we got a little complacent, in a few of those games. Players coming in and out. Our season hasn't been the easiest in terms of kind of continuity, and I think now we've kind of been able to peak at the right time in terms of understanding what we need to do to win, how we need to stay hungry. If a team's taking away one thing, how we can continue to combat that with different options, and I feel like we're at a really good, place right now where we've been doing that really well.
You've been, guard your whole life, and all of a sudden, you're like defending the screener on all these actions. Has that been a challenge? How would you, approach that? Or think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of brings me back to my college days when I played the 4 a little bit. I haven't done it in the W yet, but I was out there hedging in college, so I guess that's equipped me to be able to do it here in the league. But like I said, the playoffs is a chess match. You got to just figure out ways to adjust, maybe give teams a different look here and there that they haven't been able to prepare for. And so it was nice to be able to guard a 4, I guess, last series. Huge. I think being able to be on the other side of it last year, knowing how hard it was to have to go on the road for the first 2 games in the finals into an opposing crowd and try and steal a win and not being able to, I think we all understand we're going to have the whole city behind us, cheering us on, being able to try and protect home court and understanding what a big advantage that is for us.
How big an advantage are the fans here for you guys? How much you take from them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say our biggest advantage for sure is our fan base. Having, 18,000 fans that are loud, cheering, rowdy all game. When we go on those runs, the building is just electric, and we don't take that for granted because we know how that's helped us all year long, and particularly in this final series, it's going to help us the most.
You talked about giving different looks. Having Leo in the starting lineup is different compared to when you face Minnesota all year. So how can that change things up?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they haven't seen us at our best yet, and so that's what we're really excited about. We made that change really late, and so, for them, that's going to be a difficult task, obviously, because of what Leo provides for us, and obviously Sluti coming off the bench, being able to dictate and be the point guard that she is. And so we're excited to kind of get, game 1 under our belt and just continuing to grow and grind out 3 wins.
Is it a scheme? Is it team defense? How do you guys continue to do so?
I mean, you can't do it one-on-one, that's for sure. She's just too good. She's been so great all year for them. We're going to have to just make things really tough and difficult for them, particularly for her. Obviously, she's just such a great player from the inside, but the outside as well, and so she's not easy to guard. And, I think we're going to rely heavily on our all defensive players with JJ and Stu to be able to guard her and just make things really difficult.
Yeah, no, they just, like you made the announcement, like more than 5 times in the last year. Where did that with you?
Yeah, it's exciting. Don't know the accuracy of that, but I guess, if it is true, definitely exciting to just be able to see the growth in such a short amount of time, knowing kind of just the impact that has on young girls and young boys dreaming of one day having a shoe as well, and knowing that it's going to be successful.
And the Bayou program is really successful, as you know. Jason Takis, Ricky, Ellie having their own. If you could have like one dream person, athlete who can have their own Bayou next decade.
I would say my husband, because I think he is the number one on Nike Bayou with how many he has. He has to have over 100 pairs that he designs on his own on the site. They've once asked me because they kept seeing his name, and our garage is his own shrine of Nike Bayou, so I would love for everyone to see what he does, because I guess I could actually probably control that, so maybe I should.
Any finals keys we can expect?
Yeah, I have a few. Hopefully won't need too many, so yes.
You've talked a lot about your progression since last year, and I'm going to take you back one more time. After the season ended, are you the type that took some time to kind of collect and gather yourself, or were you like, yo, let's get back in the gym and start working again quickly?
No, I took some time. I had to rehab a little bit. I was a little bit injured, and so I took some time to just heal physically, mentally, understanding the off season's long, and so not wanting to get ahead of myself, knowing what my body needs. With a long off season ahead, that I was able to get really healthy and train, and in turn has helped me this year just be able to be the player that I am, and continuing to just be at full force.
And did you get into that mental space where you were ready to kind of, all right, really attack it? Because you talked about so much about using that hunger into this year. So curious when you got into that mental mind frame.
I would probably say around like December, January of that off season is when things started really, turning the page, and I kind of put last year behind me and was able to just focus on what I needed to do that off season to be better. And it obviously doesn't happen overnight. It's one of those things that as an athlete you have to just go through and continue to grind through that. But I would say, yeah, probably around December, January is when I was like, all right, last season's over. I got to turn my focus on what I can do to be better and internalize that and put the work in.
What's the biggest difference in you as you head into game one for this finals compared to last year at this time?
Just having that experience under my belt. Last year I felt like a deer in headlights, not knowing what it felt like to play in a finals. Everything was moving really fast for me, and in turn on the court it was moving really fast, and just to be able to kind of slow down time, play at my own pace, understanding what a final series feels like, not getting too high or too low, all those things really add up in the course of a game and in a series, and I think you've been able to kind of see that through last series as well, just continuing to find a way to get it done.
So just getting to know Courtney closer over the last few years, what does she mean to you just as a person, and can you describe the effect that she just has on the day-to-day of this team?
She's just steady. You know what you're going to get every single time she's out on the court. You know what you're going to get every single time you're with her in the locker room. Like, she's just confident, poised, positive, always finds a way to get whatever it is done, and has sacrificed a lot for us. She missed over a month, comes back, has to take a little bit of a lesser role, and it hasn't fazed her. It hasn't fazed how she's played. It hasn't fazed how she's approached the game and how she's approached us as teammates. And to have a teammate like that at her stage in her career, that doesn't happen often. And for us, it's like we never have to worry about Sluty. She's always gonna show up and be the pro that she is. And for that, I'm always thankful, because she shows me kind of by example what I need to strive to be like.
Is there a common thread in the losses to us that you think we got to fix this in order to survive in the season?
No, I think it's just, obviously they haven't seen us at our best yet. And for us, it's just understanding what it is they're trying to do and be able to understand you're not going to get anything easy. Kind of play similar styles of games in terms of really high assist team, looking to drive and kick, looking to run the ball. And so I think it's just that understanding of what it is they're trying to do, and us being able to dictate with our defense, because I think defensively that's changed a lot of games for us. Just from even the last series semifinals, like we buckled down and played really good defense, whether the ball was going in or not offensively, and we were able to grind some wins out, whether they were, ugly or not.
Is this the most locked in you've seen this team since you've been here?
Yeah, absolutely. Even last series, I mean, we're all smiles, fun, and whatever, but to be able to see how kind of we've been able to shift and understand, like, we got to get this done, and everyone's on board with understanding what's at stake and how important these games are, particularly at home, being able to get to here, protect our home court. That's what we've talked about all year, and not taking our foot off the gas. Season's short now. I mean, you can be done in a week, and I think it's understanding that we don't want that to happen, and we're in the driver's seat.
Sabrina, you've been on the precipice of title so many times, and sometimes it's been taken away through factors beyond your control. 2020 Oregon, for example, maybe not having great pieces in 21-22. So what can you say about this time around where you play a direct role in this team's success, and what do you want to do differently in this edition of the finals compared to last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think my ability to lead has definitely helped through the highs and lows. I think being able to have the experience of going through what we went through last year, it's just better equipped me to be able to understand how to get through it in this moment. Obviously, in college, in that year that got taken away, from us, it's a tough one. It's something that you never really heal from, but I feel like if we're going to be able to get it done this year, for me personally, it's all kind of part of the journey, and I feel like a little piece of me will kind of be given back to the University of Oregon, because I wouldn't be here without what that university has meant to me and how it supported me throughout my career, and not being able to get it done that year kind of has hurt, but it's just motivated me to want to feel that again, and I'm just this close to feeling that again now.
How beneficial was that extra 2 days of rest? Knowing Minnesota's coming off of going in 5, and you guys were able to get back home and maybe a little time off?
Yeah, huge. I feel like we were kind of in their position last year when we grinded out that series against Connecticut, and we know what it feels like to just be beat up and have to keep playing and not have time. And I think Vegas finished Dallas in 3, and we're able to get those days of rest. And at this point in the season, those days of rest are huge. Being able to just get kind of mentally, physically prepared for the next series and not just have to fly into it. And so for us, it's going to be huge. Obviously, we're able to get some great practices in, kind of be able to scout a little bit earlier and understanding who we're going to be playing. And at the end of the day, though, at this point in the season, everyone's ready. It doesn't matter, and we just got to come out and be able to execute like we want.
In this sort of setting, is there anything that you do just to take time for yourself and to get away from basketball to get some mental relief? Like anything for, I don't know if it would be for fun or just relaxing? How do you then navigate that?
To be honest, I've been really just locked in, watching some shows on Netflix with the long travel. But I would say no. I mean, I've kind of put everything on back burner from, I'm having 25 people come to the game tomorrow, all traveling in from California, and not really spending too much time with them, just staying locked in on this series, knowing that I'll be able to see them in about a week and a half.
You've mentioned your leadership as being a difference between last year and this year. As a leader, what has, I guess, been your message to the team, or is it more so just, through your actions that you set an example?
No, I mean, I think it's just kind of having that mentality of no let up. We've done what we've needed to do to get here, and we know what it takes to lose. We don't know yet what it takes to win. And so I think it's understanding, using that and continuing to be fueled by that feeling that we all felt in the locker room last year, to not feel that again. And, that fire is burning bright in all of us, and to be able to use that to continue to motivate us. And if we do that and control what we can, we're the best team in the league, and no one can beat us.
What are the shows?
Sorry, I was just curious. That's all. Just what shows are you watching?
I'm curious myself.
I just finished the #1 TV show today. Never.
Oh, the Kirsten Bell one?
Yes.
Oh,
Nobody wants this.
Yeah.
Great. Love a good rom-com.
Kirsten Bell and Adam
Brody.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, guys. You gotta watch it.
Okay,
Love a good
The
rom-com.
other one, Secret Life with Morgan Wise, is really good.
I've heard Sluty and Flutie and Stewie are watching that one.
Like recommend Target.
Okay, thank you. I'll take all recommendations.
But go ahead, baby. Oh, I appreciate it. But I also wanted to ask about Coach Brondello mentioned that this team, because of the losses to Minnesota, it's a good way to fight back complacency. You've mentioned that losses can be good learning experiences. What have you learned from those Minnesota losses, and how have they been the learning experiences with the side?
Yeah, I mean, we beat Vegas in the regular season last year in a series, right? And we kind of came in to the finals maybe with the mentality of like, oh, we're just going to do it again because we did it in the regular season, and that was definitely not the case. And so I feel like being able to go through all these experiences as a group, it kind of puts us back in the position where we're at now, where it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, but flipped, like roles reversed, right? Minnesota's beat us in the regular season, but they're not going to get that same team that they are in the playoffs. I think they know that. I think we know that. And so for us, just being able to have that understanding of it doesn't matter what happened in the regular season. What matters what happens within these 5 games, and we're a completely different team. So I'm excited for them to get our best tomorrow.
Okay, Sabrina. First person or first teammate that comes to mind when I say these words, okay?
Yes.
Range. It can be you too.
Me.
Let's do it again. Range.
Me.
Defense.
Stewie.
Clutch.
Stewie.
Poise.
Flutie.
X Factor.
Leo. Thank you.
Sabrina, just you guys, first of all, congratulations on making a back-to-back WNBA finals. One thing that you guys have said is job is not done. What do you think are the keys of improvement that this team needs just to get the job done in the long run?
I would say just defensive intensity. When we've been able to see how our defense has dictated whether we win or lose a game, and it's a lot of things in our control, denying the ball, making things difficult, rebounding, effort plays, 50-50 balls, all those small things, we're able to win, not pretty. And I think that's really important in this finals. It's not going to be like it is in the regular season when you're just up by 20 and everyone gets touches and everyone's happy. I think it's that understanding of sacrifice, and whatever the team needs, whatever the game at hand needs in that series, that's what you got to do. And I think everyone is completely on board with that, and that's kind of going to be that X factor that we need in this series.
And how important do you think JJ will be in this series? The one game that you did win against Minnesota this season was the game that John Paul had a double-double, and obviously you're undefeated when she does have a double-double. So how important do you think it is to feature JJ in this series?
It's going to be huge. I'm not worried about JJ. I know she's going to come in ready. She wants to win just as bad as everyone else, and she understands what she needs to do and how we can help her get in that position. And so I know she's going to be ready offensively, defensively, that post presence that we need, the rim protector that we need her to be in order for us to win.
And my last one for you, I know you said you're locked in, but what have you been doing? Is there any superstitions or anything that you have to stay locked in and stay ready for the upcoming WNBA finals?
Don't even get me started on these superstitions. I got to get out of this because it's not healthy. From my husband wearing the exact same outfit to every single playoff game since we lost. He hasn't shaved his beard, hasn't cut his hair. He eats 3 cookies before every single game. We eat the same dinner. Like, I could keep going, and it's really not healthy. So as soon as we wrap this up, I gotta start over. I gotta cut my hair. I gotta do my nails. I gotta do everything that I didn't do before because we're in this little cycle right now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sabrina, how do you approach bigger games like this, and does it play a factor in your mentality preparing for it?
I mean, it's the biggest stage. It's the best 2 teams, the last 2 teams standing, and you got to play like every game's your last, and that's what I'm going to do personally. You can't save yourself for anything. There's no promise of a next game, and this series goes by really quick. I mean, a series of 5 is over in the blink of an eye, and so I think it's that understanding of you got to go out there and be your best when the lights are on, the lights are the brightest, and I have no doubt that we're going to do just that.
What is the pressure going into this game?
Or
this series?
I to be honest, don't really feel it. I think for us, it's just if we are our best and we control what we can, we win. And I think that's our understanding. If we play as hard as we can, if we continue to do the things that we know help win us games, we win this game. We don't have to win by playing perfect basketball, and I think that's shown in the last series and throughout this entire year. We're good enough to win playing just controlling what we need to control in order to win these games. And so I think that's reassuring because there's kind of a trust in just doing the things that you need to do to win.
What's it like just knowing how much work you put in the offseason to now finally be in this moment?
I mean, it's huge, right? Like that's what you work so hard for, is to be able to kind of reap the benefits of what you're doing, and for you to be able to see it in real time is really exciting. Obviously, there's more to do, and the cherry on top would be to be able to win this year, and that's the goal. I mean, we're going to go down fighting, but I think we're all really confident in our ability to win this series and kind of get past that hurdle.
Yeah. Do you think about this moment in those days back in December, January?
Yeah, I mean, I've been dreaming about a championship since we lost last year. Like what it would feel like to be able to win, what it would mean to this organization, for us as players, for the city that has supported us, that hasn't had a championship in a long time. It's like the time is now, and we all understand that, and there's just this kind of like feeling of understanding that we can't let this opportunity slip, and being able to play with that hunger makes you a really tough team to beat.
Hi, Sabrina. In the season, Minnesota led in assist percentage, and they moved really well off the ball. What do you think is key to sort of like jamming up their movement and making them play a more sort of one-on-one type game?
Yeah, I mean, I think just applying ball pressure. With Leo now in our starting lineup as a 6'4" wing and guard, her length, her ability to guard ball, off-ball actions, her versatility has really helped us throughout this entire playoffs run. And so for us, it's going to be just making things difficult for them and not letting them just come down and pick us apart, because we're kind of the same way. We love that as well. And I think we're able to see when teams are up and physical, makes it really hard for the offense to just generate easy assists.
Yeah, after the last meeting, you guys saw them, and you guys made that big run in the fourth quarter. How do you think you guys have sort of grown since that point to where you are now?
I mean, a lot. We're not the team that we were then. I think we were a little complacent and just ready to start the playoffs and to be able, I think the whole world has been able to see the team that we've been now in the playoffs, from Atlanta to Vegas to this next series, is not the same team as it was in regular season, and that's really exciting for me to be able to see how different we're going to be from those games that we matched up with them in the regular season.
Yeah, in Game 4, once JJ and Leo got in foul trouble, it felt like there was still a sense of poise with the group when KB and KT came in, and there wasn't like a panic. How do you think you guys have been able to sort of like build that sort of like internal trust with each other, like as the stakes get higher and higher?
Yeah, I think we've gone through that all year. Players have come in and out. Lineups have changed, people have gotten in foul trouble, and it's just kind of that next man up mentality, and our bench is ready. I think that's our biggest strength is our bench, and they want to come in, they want to help, they understand what their strengths are, and we know how valuable they are to our team, and when they come in, they give us a spark, whether it's Niara coming off the bench and has given us a huge spark all year, to KT and KB, continuing to just change the momentum of games, and we trust them just like we trust our starting group. And so that was huge for us last game, because there was just this level of understanding and poise when they came in that we were still fine.
Yeah. I was talking to, I forget who it was, a few days ago, like after Game 2 against Vegas, it felt like this was the loudest I've heard the building in a game like this. How do you think you guys have been able to create such a sort of passionate and intense home court advantage here?
Yeah, I think that's the loudest I've heard it as well. And I think, the crowd embodies what we do on the court. And that's just this like toughness, this grit, passion, commitment to one another. And they're a part of that. Like our fan base is a part of who we are. We want to win for them in how they've supported us throughout the last few years, particularly this year, after coming up short from last year. And they're hungry for a championship too. And we feel that. We never want to come out and disappoint them, especially on our home court. And being able to have that home court advantage has really helped us in the playoffs. And I know tomorrow is probably going to be the loudest it's been all year. So we're really excited to be able to hear them and feel them as we go on our runs.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm back with another sneaker question.
So defensively, and then they're loose and they're making shots, and you're not making them feel uncomfortable, you're in trouble. But yeah, we've started late now, so we're a little bit different team. So hopefully we'll use that, hopefully that works for us. And be disruptive and win the chess game.
it's easy to say, okay, you played really explosive and turn headlines last year. Their team hasn't been many.
Yeah, exactly. You're coming in here, and we've seen all this before. You know, they haven't. And for us, it's like another day at the office because the experience part it does play into it. Over the course of the series, what it takes. You've got to stay in the moment, and Cheryl's an experienced coach, but you sort of, okay, stay in the moment. Game one is the only one. That's all we're focused on. It's game one. We don't look too far ahead. Because last year you learned from that. We had beaten Vegas last year, and they came out and smashed us. You know what I mean? But now this team's beaten us. So we respect them. We know they're really good. But so are we. And they haven't seen our best. And so hopefully we can come out here and play our best.
What does it say about you? You go through WNBA to make it sort of almost no team has done it like that without an injury. What does it say about the program the conviction?
Well, in the end, my job is to coach this team, so I made the decision that was best for the team in that regard. And Sluty was the ultimate professional. It's never easy, but I did it in a very respectful way, and I actually thought it would help Sluty. It was going to help our team, and Sluty wants to win in the end. So obviously, courage to do it. It was the right thing to do at that time. We felt, because Leia had proven it. It's not that we hadn't done it. That Leia hadn't started, that would have been harder. But Leia started, so I think it was good, and I think it's helped Sluty. Her role minutes hasn't changed per se, but her role in terms of her effect on the game has, and I think that's what I was trying to get to, and I thought that could be the vision that my staff had.
Hey Sandy, for a team that moves off the ball and moves the ball as well as Minnesota does, how do you sort of jam them up and make them more one-on-one based?
Yeah, look at our rotations. I thought you saw the scramble defense, especially in the second half in Vegas. Over the season, over the course of that series here, that's what you got to do. You got to make them feel a little bit more rushed. How do you make them feel uncomfortable? What kind of shot you want are willing to give up? Who's going to have to give up some? But it's the activity, down the other end. We're a team that moved the ball pretty well too, so it's more, it's going to be a chess game in that. How do we exploit them? But knowing that decision making is going to be critical, and makes and misses are going to be critical.
Yeah. In the last meeting, in that fourth quarter, you and Leia were talking about it. You guys threw the triangular one on Carlton. How do you think their three-point shooting, especially with her, McBride, Williams as well, how do you think you guys will be able to sort of counteract that and make them play into your hands a little bit more?
I think it was triangle and two. That was boxing one. If you do that. Look, we were getting our butts kicked, so we were changing something. Usually we don't do that often, but we went and it allowed us to get back in again. Whether it's something we use, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how the game's going. But defensive, we can be a great defensive team, but we have to lock in. We have to, where can we be disruptive? The communication, the teamwork, because it won't always be perfect, but the movement out of it has to be.
Yeah, it felt like in watching from home on game 4, once JJ and Leo got in foul trouble, it felt like the group still, there wasn't a sense of panic or dread when that happened. KB and KT were able to hold things down, and then you guys took over late. With the group at the point where they are now, are you able to just sort of let them sort of solve things themselves more, or do you just still sort of guide them through in a sense?
A bit of both. We've at this stage, they know the system, how we play. Then it's just going out and doing it and communicating. And then if we need to change something, the coach is making adjustments. But then, okay, we've seen that because we did that against that game, remember? Mm-hmm. So it's more, a bit of both. And them just trusting it and trusting each other and staying together. And that's the most important thing.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thanks, Brian.